previous session, we have discussed about the definition of outcome-based education. Also, some of the keywords related to the teaching and learning process. So, in this session, since we are creating a course file, we also should mention the mapping of CO-PO mapping, target level, attainment level. What are the ISC components, in semester exam components that you are using? The rubric, the results, analysis, mid-semester question papers, questions, answers, results, analysis, end semester questions, answers, results, analysis, course exit, because these are the indirect way of assessment, a remedial lecture, any taken during the semester, any over and above activities for slow learners and fast learners, attendance records, defaulter list, action taken report, any resources you have used for the teaching and learning, any other relevant information of web references or innovative teaching and learning process, finally the feedback. So this is a typical course file which is every faculty is supposed to create at SPIT. Right, now let us discuss about the course outcomes and how they are evaluated by a faculty, and a student also need to understand, because finally student is the candidate who is performing, who is being evaluated. This entire process, while defining, we have to refer to All India Committee for Technical Education, National Board of Accreditation as a reference, because for national level, all the engineering institutes, every program being audited by NBA committee. So while creating the file, undoubtedly one has to refer to the auditor's references. So you cannot set up your own way of setting the attributes or the evaluation techniques. They are already defined. Only we need to refer them and implement them. Okay, that's why we said it is just a typical course file. All right, so as a faculty, one can refer. The first is about this, the semester's course. Either you can go to academics, departments. In departments, again you have various programs like EXTC. Under EXTC, in academics, if you refer BTech, then you get BTech syllabus, first year, second year, and the curriculum. Or you can also go to SPIT library syllabus. If you set the syllabus, again the syllabus copy and previous question papers are available. All right, so this is how one should get the syllabus. Now, if you want to refer to a specific syllabus, let's say second year SC Electronics and Telecommunication, the complete syllabus copy is available, particularly the abbreviations in the entire syllabus. You need to understand the demography of the syllabus, which of them are program core, which of them are program electives, which of them are open. Also, you can refer the credit system and the teaching and learning process. What do you mean by lectures, hours, laboratory hours? What do you mean by other work, that is self-study? What do you mean by engagement, total engagement? And what do you mean by how many credits are assigned for each course? All right, so anyhow, this is about the curriculum and the syllabus. So we are interested in let's say any specific subject. So any typical subject, if you refer, a course will consist of the typically, right, a syllabus, but before that you will also find some course outcomes. So these course outcomes are predefined, at least around 5 to 6 course outcomes are there. While defining, however, you will notice that they are based on the learning objectives, Bloom's taxonomy, that what are the how many levels I can achieve while teaching this course. And then you will find the mapping. These course outcomes, are they contributing to my program outcomes, 12 program outcomes? Are they contributing strongly, moderate, or weak? Weak means 1 mark, strong means 3 marks, moderate means 2 marks. So this entire thing is based on the guidelines. One has to follow it. Let's look at a typical course. Let's say a course is Electronics and Telecommunication, 3rd semester. We will discuss. So analog circuits, EC205, belongs to program core, like I already mentioned the abbreviations. The category the course belongs to. What you can notice is that while creating the course file, you should follow the definition. The number of teaching hours for that course, the number of lecture hours are 3. If there are any tutorials, how many practicals are there? So this entire teaching hours, 3 hours means 3 hours per week. This is per week. And 2 hours per week is the practical. And there is a component called O, that is the other work, over and above. The student has to do self-learning of 6 hours. So the total E is the total engagement per week is 3 hours of theory, 2 hours of practical, 6 hours of over and above a candidate has to do through some assignments or some self-learning. And the engagement during that week for this subject is 11 hours. That is about the teaching, or you can say learning, because it's not only complete teaching, there is also equal amount of learning is also involved. So you can say learning. Then about the how many credits I am assigning. Per credit, if 1 credit is there, that means 14 hours of teaching takes place during the semester. If 3 credits are there, it means 14 into 3, you have to teach 42 hours of teaching. Similarly, for practical, if 1 credit is there, that means 2 hours per week lab should take place for 14 weeks. So 3 plus 1, 4 credits for this subject. Now, how do you do the examination? Interestingly, at SPIT, the marks could be anything. It could be 100, 200, 300, 400. Generally, in university system, the marks are fixed. Marks define the entire evaluation system. But however, here the assessment methods and their weightage, because it's a continuous assessment. So here the assessment method and the weightage will define my assessment. Now let's say, for example, 3 components are mentioned for this subject. For most of the subjects, ISC, MSc, ESC. However, let's not bother about marks. It could be any number of marks. But what he says that there is a weightage, there is a assessment of theory in ISC also, MSc also, ESC also. However, for laboratory, there is a ISC and there is a ESC. Now what happens is, irrespective of the marks, you should look at my distribution. My theory examination distribution is, I am giving my weightage to 20% of ISC, 20% of MSc, 60% of ESC. So that will contribute to my 100%. Similarly, my laboratory of 14 weeks of laboratory, every experiment has some marks. So those experiments of 10 experiments will have 80%, and end of the semester there will be examination that will be given a 20% will contribute to 100%. After that, how many passing heads are there? There is a passing head for my entire theory plus laboratory. Out of 100 combined together, there is a passing head, and there is a passing head for my end semester examination. So 2 passing head for my entire theory and laboratory. So at SPIT we are not saying that every component there is a passing head. There are 2 passing head. One is ESC, one is together theory and laboratory out of 100. I also in my previous session explained about the grading. The passing means how the mean value is calculated, and above class mean value is a passing, below is a fail. And my even the top grade is also based on the semester's performance. Relatively it is graded, 5 to 10% are given the top grade. Then rest of the grades between my now let us discuss about the mapping part. Every subject as I have shown you in the syllabus, there are some learning objectives. So based on the syllabus, the course outcomes are defined, at least 5 to 6 course outcomes are defined. Maybe apply, discuss, evaluate, design. Those are the some abilities during the course, during the laboratory. It could be theory, it could be laboratory. Right now we are discussing about the theory part. So they may be mapped to my program outcomes, particularly 1, 2, 3 as we have discussed. These are all related to my knowledge, engineering knowledge, or maybe problem analysis or design or investigation. Sometimes PO5 is about the modern tools, so they may be mapped my program outcomes. 8 and 10 can be mapped because 8 talks about the ethics, 10 talks about the communication. It could be mapped because when we have a laboratory course, right, and if I am doing this assignments or experiments, the sincerity and the plagiarism check, that could be verified in terms of ethics. Similarly, 10 is about the documentation, presentation, communication, vivas. Generally in laboratory courses, this could be 10th also could be verified in these experiments. So this is the mapping. My COs are mapped to my POs. How many COs are contributing to my POs? Now it comes to my CO target. Every CO, what is the target? By what percentage a student should be above average? Let's say some percentage, 70%, 65%, and so on, 80%, depends. But this target is always based on my previous examination, how they have performed. If the target last time is performed not well in CO, then this time you have to make sure, keeping the same target, you should achieve it by teaching differently, conducting differently, explaining differently. Then you evaluate, achieve the CO1 target of whatever the target you have mentioned. Last time if it is already 70%, this time you can better, if you want to improve or keep the same, is your choice, so that you can always go for a next level of achieving the target. Highest target is possible. Slightly you can always keep a next target. It based on the faculty to faculty. This target level always could be a better way of improving the attainment. Now, the how do you correlate, right? When you correlate, then you have to mention the strength. Each course outcome is contributing to my POs by what level? It could be weak, it could be medium, it could be strong. Like already mentioned, since this is a audited process, let us have a uniformity. Otherwise, you can also scale it on the scale of 10 or 5 or whatever. But here they said as a standard norm 1, 2, 3. Weak is 1, strong is 3. So are they strongly correlated to your PO, or medium or weakly? One can, it depends on the faculty, the number of assignments, evaluation. You can slightly change also faculty to faculty. Now, course outcomes assessment tools. So since you have 6 outcomes, you have 2 ways of doing the assessment. One is called direct assessment, second is called indirect assessment. Direct assessment is always through your class test like ISC, quiz, presentations, demonstrations, experiments. This happens through your various evaluation systems. So how many marks you have given to those assessment methods and to that CO, it varies. It depends on same. If you are repeatedly asked, it may repeatedly in the sense maybe multiple questions if you have asked, maybe you can have multiple marks. Similarly, if you have multiple experiments for the same CO, it may be having more marks. So this is again a debatable at the course level with the help of the experts. What is the weightage and what are the marks are given. However, it's a faculty centric. Now comes to the attainment level. When you are doing the assessment through ISC, MSc, ESC or some experiments, how do you scale them of low, medium and high? So during your ESC, MSc, since this is a written test is involved, the scaling could be different. If it is a in-semester assessment, means direct faculty involvement is there 1-to-1, the scaling could be different. And the course exit is a feedback system, it's a indirect assessment, the scaling could be different. So what the guideline says that less than 40% of students scoring more than class average in the examination, any of the examination is called less than is a 1, 2 and 3. If it is above 60 is 3. However, in ISC, the bar could be slightly above 50%, 50 to 70, above 70. In a feedback system, generally it is a faculty centric. Depends on the interaction. It could be delivery methods. It could be 60 minimum is expected, whatever. So this is the attainment level and the distribution of the grades. Now comes to the actual implementation part. So you have 6 course outcomes. You might have conducted a ISC 1, you might have conducted a quiz 1, you might have conducted a quiz 2. Now you need to, when you conduct the assessment method, find out for this course outcome what is the percentage of students who have scored above average level. So these course outcomes in theory, maybe these course outcomes after your calculation, you can enter into this ISC1. Similarly, other evaluation systems might not be assessing all the course outcomes, may be possible, particularly if it is a quiz, maybe first two course outcomes you are doing, maybe some other quiz you may be doing for other course outcomes, it is possible. So finally find out what is the average of these three ISC components you have done the assessment of that particular course outcome. So that is you will come to know ISC average. Then comes to the mid-semester examination, which is again a direct assessment method through written test. So naturally the syllabus is 50% covered. Probably you are able to do the assessment first few course outcomes. However, ESC generally is a end semester exam. There is a passing head. End of the semester it is conducted. It covers the entire syllabus. All the course outcomes could be assessed. So once you do that assessment, what is the percentage of students above average they have scored? So once you enter all these rows and columns, now you try to compare if it is a ESC or MSc component, what is the percentage? Let's say for example, now this is anywhere between 40 to 60 is medium 2. If it is a ISC, then it is 50 to 70 is considered as a medium 2, and so on. So accordingly, that attainment level of ISC, MSc, ESC, you try to fit it into those scaling. Now direct CO attainment means together all three, if you average it, then you will come to know direct CO attainment of all the course outcomes by various ways and means of ISC, quiz, MSc and ESC. And instead of percentage, we have tried to scale it to the attainment levels of 1, 2, 3, and again average these ISC, MSc, ESC. Then you will come to know direct CO attainment level on the scale of 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this is for your direct attainment. However, you need to scale again this. When you say direct attainment, the weightage given for ISC is 20%, the weightage given for MSc is 20%, the weightage given for ESC is 60%. Together, if you scale it, then you will come to know your direct CO attainment, because we are not giving the maximum weightage to ISC or MSc. Maximum weightage is given to ESC because it is conducted by the controller of examination. So that's the final your direct CO attainment of percentage distribution, amount of weight you are given to the each component. Now this is about the theory. So similarly, when you come to the experiments, course outcomes attainment through your laboratory courses. So the laboratory course, 6 course outcomes are achieved with the help of how many experiments. And then when you do the assessment, try to find. Similarly, end of the semester, every laboratory has a ESC component. How many of you have scored above average for each course outcome? You find out, and then convert these things ISC CO attainment, ESC CO attainment. However, before filling the direct CO attainment for the laboratory course, the weightage given for ISC is 80%, the weightage given for ESC is 20%. So That's the how they contribute to the direct CO attainment for the laboratory course. Now next comes to the next table, number 6, where I am calculating together. This is a unique model at SPIT. Theory and laboratory together they contribute to my CO attainment. So my theory direct attainments and my laboratory direct CO attainments together, I am giving a weightage of 50% to my theory, 50% to my laboratory is called X. So direct CO attainment of X is 50% of theory, 50% of the laboratory. So that is my CO all 6 attainments in a theory and laboratory together for a direct CO attainment. Then it comes to the feedback, course exit feedback end semester. On a scale of 5 for every course outcome, how many students have given for scale of 5. Accordingly, find out the weighted average. Again, convert into my attainment level, which is an indirect attainment level, which has a different scaling here. My course exit has a different scale. So once you try to fit it into the indirect CO attainment level, I call that as a Y component. Finally, my conclusion, quality assessment. I have 6 course outcomes. My direct CO attainment X is here. My indirect CO attainment feedback is a Y here. So total, again, I am giving 80% to my direct assessment, 20% to my indirect assessment, that is a feedback. So I will come to know what is my CO attainment. Now this CO attainment of 2.44. Now what is my target? My target is, let's say, 70%, which I have defined in my beginning of the course itself. This semester, what are my target levels? So these target levels in my closed loop system, right? If you calculate, out of 70% means 2.1 is 75% of my maximum possible attainment level. I have scored 2.44. That means I have exceeded my target. So that means target is being achieved. So similarly, you can find out. You also need to justify. If you have achieved, then action plan, what is that you have emphasized in achieving that. If you have not achieved, your feedback, that why you are unable to achieve and then how you should achieve it. And you can also say, my next semester, if you are teaching, or the faculty who is going to teach, what should be the next target level, either it should be increased or decreased. It's a debatable with the help of the experts. Finally, all these COs are contributing to my POs, which we already mentioned in the mapping itself in the beginning, the first table, right? All my COs, how they are contributing to my POs, particularly which COs are contributing to which POs. Now since you have the weightage through direct attainment, so CO1 to CO6, if you find out the overall attainment level, if you average it, it comes out to be 2.47. Similarly, you have overall indirect attainment level through your feedback system. Similar, using the same formula, you calculate for the indirect attainment level, it comes out to be 2.66. So these are the direct and indirect methods are used to do the assessment, which are contributing to my POs by this much weightage. So that's about. So this is prepared by Professor Prashant, senior faculty of Electronics and Telecommunication Department. So this is a typical way of every faculty is supposed to create a course file, so that end of the semester, once you do the assessment, it may be a feedback and guidelines for the next faculty who are she teaching, in order to improve, either in terms of if it is unable to attain, then you have to change your teaching and executing processes, or if you have already attained, then maybe you can keep the goal post at the next level. All right, so that's about the how to prepare a course file in an outcome based education system. And then at the centralized level, they calculate how all the courses, because every semester has multiple courses, how the all the courses are contributing at the program level to the program outcomes, POs, all 12 POs, because multiple courses will have multiple uh, contribute, and then average you have to find out, so that are they strongly contributing to POs, or any POs are missing. If they are missing, if they are not contributing your program, maybe you have to redesign the syllabus structure in such a way that all the 12 graduate attributes should strongly contribute. So that's how the overall performance of the program could be improved time to time. Similarly, when you do the alumni surveys after 4 years of engineering, how they are contributing, that's an indirect method. They also can contribute to my some of the after PO5 onwards. You will come to know how they have performing in the industry society. Probably you will, in assessment method, that feedback will help you, or maybe you have to think of, with the help of industry feedback, having more courses time to time. Yearly once we do conduct industry interaction, alumni interaction, so that in order to improvise the system. Thank you.